Hey there, it's Zach Gibson, your host, and welcome back to Deconstructing Accessibility. Today's episode is all about language, specifically how the words we use can shape our perceptions of disability. We've got a fantastic lineup ready to share the insights, so let's dive right in. I know we're going to have some great insights on how language can sometimes miss the mark when it comes to talking about disabilities. What's your take on this, Anubha?
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for introducing me. Yes, I would like to share some of my experiences. So, as an outreach person who's involved in a lot of activities with the EMA, I usually participate in a lot of seminars, conferences, where there's discussions around disability inclusion, and surprisingly, uh, what I've observed is most of the speakers keep mentioning these people need ramps, they need accessibility features. And the whole conversation is revolving around that we are doing something extra or something really special for people with disabilities. And the whole conversation of inclusion goes away. That's what I feel. And most of the times, surprisingly, I have heard the inclusion experts or the accessibility experts themselves saying such words. So, these mentioning like they need is something that gives us an idea that uh, it's something accessibility is something that is only needed for persons with disabilities but not everybody. So we these words we need to go away with. And yeah, that is what I have experienced in most of the 90% of speakers are using this language where we're not mentioning or rather saying that we or us, but just saying them or these people. And not definitely when we need to mention, we can always say that all of us, including people with disabilities, of course, but that is always taken a back seat, and special mention is always given.
Jaitra, you mentioned how we tend to put too much emphasis on the condition rather than the person. Can you expand on this?
Hi, Sai, and hi, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. In my experience, I have with my friends and my classmates, everyone identify me or shape me with my call more than my name or my skills or kind. Most of people call me as a disabled person. So that shaped me, my identity, my attitude, and everything. And some people don't know how to call this. Just take the identify the disability. So I really want to educate the what kind of person with disability call things they can understand our situation, understand to use the correct language or use the correct uh, care and kind of words. Make them me and them comfortable, and they don't know what they can call us or what way they can feel better in good language and positive language can help both of us be as a common or daily basis.
That's great. It would be nice if people would say your name first rather than your disability. Talk about you as your skills first. I think that's what you're saying. Skills, a person first, what they're doing, talk about that. And then, if necessary, mention the disability. It's actually quite often not necessary because if somebody's doing a job, then you'll be talking about whether they're a student or whether they're an architect. You say, this is Jaitra, she's an architect. Why mention the disability? It's not necessary.
Yeah.
And then if there's some relevance, you say, by the way, she has cerebral palsy. She might have some mobility issue. Do you have a ramp at your facility or whatever she might need? So that person first, disability second.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Others, we've
Great.
also talked about the term differently abled. and how it's evolved over time. Can you tell us about your journey?
My name is Adarsh. I have muscular dystrophy and I use an electric wheelchair. So there's been a revolution of a lot of terminologies to describe a person a disabled person. So when the term differentially able first came out, I actually thought that this was a better word than disabled.
No. I don't think so. No? No, it isn't. Sure.
Initially, I thought, well, here is a word that says I am different but abled, and I looked at it in a positive light, showing that I had a disability, but I was equally abled. I actually advocated for this word at that time, told my family, friends, to change it from disabled to differentially able. Then through various reading lots of opinions, having discussions and self-reflections, I actually came to realize that this word differentially able can actually be quite confusing for people.
I parked in a handicap spot. I hope that's okay.
You parked in
I'm sorry, disabled spot. Is that the proper nomenclature?
Here I am not actually different, nor do I want to be labeled as different. And the second part of the word abled, you question sometimes, why should I be compared to an able-bodied person? So putting these two words together actually started to not make sense for me. And I came to the conclusion that this terminology is not the right context. And again, started telling everybody about it. And I think sticking to the word disabled was probably the best because it's clear and to the point. So there's no other interpretations.
Yeah.
So person with disability is more appropriate.
Yes, person with disability.
Yes, and you can say Adarsh, executive at EnableMe-Access, he happens to have muscular dystrophy.
Exactly.
And if it's required in the context. And this is a theme that able is not the same as normal. And a lot of the time you'll hear this word normal, and able. And in the disability advocacy and anthropological studies and so on, they keep talking about this kind of language as ableist. It's a language created by people who are supposedly normal, supposedly able. But yeah. We're all different. We're all able. Some are more able at skiing, and some people are less able at skiing. So we're not going to say that they're disabled or normal or whatever. It's just not the right way to use the language. And like you say, language is very important. So that's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you got for us next, Zach?
Well, kind of what you were already talking about. I know you've been really vocal about the euphemisms of disability.
Euphemisms, yes, difficult word.
Euphemisms. What's your stand on this?
Well, euphemisms are extremely annoying. It's extremely patronizing and belittling people by using euphemisms, and especially abled, special needs. Special needs is a little bit more descriptive, but we don't want to say somebody's less able or less normal. I mean, we don't want to say that somebody's a superhuman. So there's sometimes a lot of nonsense spoken in the disability sector, this kind of language that implies that because we have one disability, we are more enhanced in another way. That blind people have super hearing and all this sort of stuff. And this kind of language of special and it's confusing. Again, it's another type of confusing language, and it's a little bit patronizing. So it is a problematic use of the language, and again, I would definitely not like it to be used in any context, whether with my loved one or with anybody else. And the solution is to be accurate. Again, we come back to so-and-so, Mr. Such and Such, with a disability. He has a mobility issue, or he has a speech impediment, or he has, neurodiversities. He has some neurological condition that makes it difficult for him in such and such circumstance. So that the person comes first. Their skills should come first. What the activity is, what the context. In this context, he's a racing driver. In this context, he's a student. In this context, a parent. And then we go into the, if necessary, then we mention, by the way, they will be arriving in by car and coming into the building on crutches. Do we have ambulant toilet that they can use? This sort of thing, so that we're only really correcting wrong language in the sense of not being patronizing and confusing.
No, it's clear that language has a big impact on how you perceive disabilities. And that's a wrap for today's discussion on language and universal design. A huge thank you for our wonderful guests for sharing their perspectives and sparking these important conversations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video to spread awareness and continue the dialogue.
I pledge to use accurate and descriptive language and not to use euphemisms.
I pledge to use inclusive communication, like we, us, all of us, and not just specifically mentioning that accessibility is only for persons with disabilities.
I pledge to use the right terminology. For example, a person with a disability instead of differentially abled or specially abled.
I pledge to use present first language.
We made our pledge.
What's yours?
What's yours?